Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we turn it over to ChatGPT to generate shows and discuss what it came up with. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Katie Joyce, Tim Swyatt, and Jeff from Iowa.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Howdy.
Happening?
Hello.
Hello. So yeah, we've got this thing, ChatGPT. I'm finally getting on board a little bit and messing with it. I'm not using it for anything. And matter of fact, we're not going to be talking about the topics of the shows. We're going to be saying, is this a good topic idea? So I've kind of already done that. I did a ChatGPT. Give me ideas, 5 ideas, I think, for a bourbon podcast. And we'll share what it came up with and said whether or not we think it's a good idea. We've also got on the Bourbon Zeppelin now, I'm having it write an article per month. And again, I'm not claiming it to be anything else, not cheating or anything like that. I'm saying this is the ChatGPT article. I give it a topic, and then I talk about how I think it did. So that's going to be kind of the fun of Bourbon Zeppelin. It'll come out once a month moving forward. And I've already been doing them in advance because I'm just fascinated by it. And some it does a really good job with, some terrible. ChatGPT awesome. Will spit out something no matter what. So yeah.
I like it.
It does amazing things.
It's like a shitty worker though, because there's skilled though, because
skilled shitty worker. That is exactly what it is.
It'll come out with some good things, but when it doesn't know, it'll fucking act like it'll try to make it up.
Like, I don't fucking know. What do you even want from me?
And like the confidence where it's like this, and you're like, no.
That was
it's like dealing with a teenager.
Absolutely wrong.
Right.
I know all the answers. Anybody between 12 and like
it is
13, 14. It's dealing with somebody like that.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
I know all the answers. I know.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm still going to say. I know. Well, if you knew, then you get the fucking answer right.
Exactly. So, Beka, you said there's something you want to talk about. What is that?
Yes. So Royce and I went on a little date night to Indiana Jones this past weekend. The new one. It is good. It's definitely, if you just went off of how the last Indiana Jones was, it's so many steps up from that because the fourth one was just insufferably bad. And so this one was miles better. I mean, you can't really top obviously the first 3 because you just can't top them. But it got me thinking because they had a lot of special effects where like you got to jump back in time with Harrison Ford, and I'm guessing used a completely different actor, and they just put a different face on him using CGI effects, which is, I think, really, it's actually terrifying how good it was.
Right.
Like it was, like I was watching it and I'm like, that's is
him, right?
Harrison
Did they film
Ford,
this when he was that age?
Yeah, and I'm like, that is Harrison Ford,
this
though.
archival footage.
But it's not, which is just absolutely insane. And it's really cool. But what I wanted to ask was, what is it that you all prefer when it comes to film? So the best one that I can compare is, did you enjoy like the first and second Jurassic Park movies where there was CGI, but like how much of it really was CGI and it really wasn't that good, like the stuff that they did? Or do you like the nowadays stuff where like you'd see the stuff now with Jurassic Park, which is very real looking for the most part, and like just like almost everything's fake, really. And I just want to know what you prefer when it comes to movies. Is it the stuff, and like I'm using Jurassic Park because it's like the first two Jurassic Parks, or the most recent Jurassic Park kind of video, like movies,
right?
Like film. Like which do you prefer when it comes to filmmaking? Yeah. And that's my question.
The weird thing with that, and I'm obviously way older than Beka, but the weird thing about that is you can't ever go back with this stuff. But I'm telling you, when you go back in time, whenever the first one came out, 92 or whatever it was, so 20 something years ago, you were probably really young. I thought the graphics were like realistic then, and now you look back, you're like, no, that wasn't realistic at all. But it's weird how you do evolve too as just watchers of this stuff. So there's some of that goes on.
So which do you prefer? The Indiana do you prefer the nostalgia of it, or do you prefer the like hyper realism of it?
No, I don't like the hyper realism, because to me, I know that the tiger can't talk or fight you or is it so to me then it just seems fake. Even though it looks real, it doesn't fool my mind for the stuff that looks super real that is I know is fake. So I'd actually prefer as much realism as possible, and then supplement with
old school
things to clean it up a little bit. But yeah, that's what I'd prefer. Yeah, old school.
Tim, what were you going to say?
Well, I was Steve. You're absolutely. I'm in your court here, Steve, because I made the mistake of seeing, just because of scheduling purposes worked out for me. I saw it in IMAX, and whatever the 8K thing, it looked so bad. I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. The technology of the CGI with the visual stuff. If I saw it on a regular 1080p HD signal, I wouldn't even notice the difference. I would say, wow, that was really cool. Whatever it's 8K, whatever they're pumping that IMAX video technology in, it was so awkward. There were disembodied heads running around. It was enough that we talked. It's the first thing we said when we got out of the movie. It said, did you guys see that first half? It was almost distracting. So I think it's going to depend on the technology that we have as consumers.
Would you enjoy it had it not been like that?
I enjoyed it regardless.
Would you have enjoyed it?
I would have enjoyed it better with less of that. Yes.
Would you have enjoyed it if they hadn't done it at all, or they'd used an actor that just looks similar and put prosthetics on him?
I would have liked the realism, do the extra work on it. I go back to if anybody's a fan of The Mandalorian, when Luke Skywalker walked out.
Exactly what I was thinking of.
I lost my mind on that one. And it looks so odd because it was kind of like one of the first few. It's not the first few, but they really put into that a really young Mark Hamill. Yeah, and it just looked too fake.
Well,
to me, I would rather have somebody.
There was a guy who fixed it. There was a guy, and I think Disney hired the guy
really
because it was so bad. And there was a guy that just is like a YouTuber, and he like does the deep fakes and stuff. And he was like, they did this like completely wrong. They didn't do it right, and he fixed it. And like he just put it out on TikTok or whatever, and on his YouTube channels. And so they hired
Oblivion. They hired him. That's cool.
So they hired him because he just put it out on like the internet and was just like, this is how they should have done it, and put it on the internet. And they hired him for the second round of like Mandalorian, where it did get better with Mark Hamill. All of a sudden, like it didn't look as horrendously terrible. And that's because they hired this like fucking random dude.
Yeah.
Who's like a streamer.
Buffed it up.
Yeah. And it looked better. So yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. Like
I want my 80-year-old Tom Cruise jumping out of an airplane in Mission Impossible 22 is what I give me that. Give me put the hard work in, because I think I think the acting's more real.
Yeah. Katie, what do you think about this?
I think overall I prefer the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because I think some of it depends on the type of movie or the type of scene, even because like the newer stuff with like Marvel, absolutely love. I love what they do with it. But in some movies, I find myself just sitting there thinking of how long did they sit editing this with a computer? And that I'm not actually just focused on like the scene or the acting or what's going on in the script. And so I think with the nostalgia of it more, I'm more present in the actual body of, And so, and I also prefer, I I get scared really easy. And so if it's any kind of like tense situation and it's obviously a very fake like dinosaur, I prefer that. So
I would have preferred watching that one dinosaur not burn to death in like realistically. Like I would have been fine with it. Like, oh, it's clearly a fake dinosaur, so it's not like burning to death.
Fake dinosaurs can die.
Yeah, I would prefer that lawyer getting eaten off the toilet to be a fake dinosaur too, because that was an injustice to all lawyers.
Oh, good. Sorry,
no one ever.
No. All right, Jeff from Iowa. What are your thoughts?
I prefer the real dinosaurs. I gotta have real dinosaurs. So I'm not believing it. No. The thing is I kind of feel insulted when I watch movies like that. They're trying to do all these special effects and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's because I watch a lot of behind the scenes stuff and I don't want to sound like a nerd, like, I know how they made the alien, with the trash bag. And I didn't want to sound like a snob like that, but I don't know. The whole thing's kind of ruined for me. And I feel insulted when they try to do like a CGI, scene or something like that. And I mean, you gotta really get into your imagination, and just kind of believe what you're seeing. So I don't know. I don't watch a lot of those movies. Like I quit watching Fast and the Furious. I loved Fast and the Furious. I quit watching that after they got real CGI.
Too fast, too furious.
Yeah.
Is that because they never go to the gas station ever?
Yeah, Paul Walker's in the last one or in the next one that's coming out, and it's like, what?
He's gonna be. Oh wow!
He's flying in space.
His CG.
Oh, thank you for letting me know that the actual dead guy isn't going to be dug up.
You didn't bring it back to life.
I didn't know if you knew.
They're going to have a marionette type of thing going. Oh,
Bernie style.
I can see the string.
We can have Bernie's.
Thank you for clarifying. I figured it was.
He's got to sign some paperwork to get the title transferred over so that we can at Bernie's amount. No,
right.
But anyway, I don't know. I
do appreciate. Here's where I do appreciate it, Beka. You asked the question, and we'll have you weigh in on this in a second. I do like it when they use it to make people who are older look younger, like you said they did with Harrison Ford. I think that's a good use of it, because sometimes you get lost in that stuff. Like I was watching Better Call Saul and the Mike character. I like that guy. I like that character in the original series. But you realize this is supposed to be a prequel, and clearly he's much older than he was in the series, and you never can forget that. You're like, he was
when they use a new actor, it's
exactly, because he was a super tough guy, and you're like, now he's like an old man. I'd kick that old man's. The old Mike I was afraid of. The new one I'd be like, I'd just kick that little man's ass and move on. Yeah. So I get that, and it's not a shot at the actor. I look much older than I did, however much younger he was at that time. But yeah, I like the use of the CGI to help out with that. Beka, what are your thoughts? You like the newfangled technology or the old school stuff?
I fucking hate the new technology with stuff.
Okay,
I absolutely hate it. I enjoy the artistic side of filmmaking where they actually had to put thought into how they did things and how they would make, and how they make it work. Right. I mean, like all of it. And okay, I was watching a thing about how they were doing the Phantom Menace, and the whole scene when they were going to do the pod racing. Like, you think you're looking at a huge crowd. They're little Q-tips that they just put different colors on the Q-tips, and they had wind blowing on them, so it looked like they were people moving. I just appreciate the artistic ability and the imagination that went into things before, and how can we actually make this work? How can this actually and does it look exactly real?
Now it's just shoot it and we'll fix it later, post-production.
Yeah. But I appreciate it's oh, we'll put some filters on it and we'll kind of speed it up a little bit there and whatever. And I just feel so much artistic ability is being lost now on film. And some people would say, what do you mean? Now there's so much more artistic, look at all the artistic stuff no, because the fucking computer's doing it all, you know?
Right.
And just all of it, like claymation stuff, even all that stuff is insane. And all the work that people put into things before.
Right. You can appreciate that.
And even, like South Park, they were using just little, they're like cutting out little things and moving around, like just all of it. I just feel like is being lost so much into just like computers. And I think that that's kind of like sad, because I think it's just like a beautiful thing that people were able to do, and that like is being lost to everyone now, and just all CGI fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
How can we make the bigger and better explosions? Well, they'll just be fucking fake ones now, and nothing's gonna blow up, and we're not gonna completely destroy the side of a mountain for our one film, which sounds horrible, but like they just put so much work into so many things, like over the years, and probably in a lot of horrible ways, and like in quite a few ways, but also just, I don't know, I think it's kind of sad, I think. And
it just means,
the one
it's
thing I do
cheaper.
appreciate is what Steve said, where it's like, this old actor needs to be young.
Right.
There's only so much we can do. That's the one thing that I'm like.
That's the one thing I'm okay with.
Hell yes. But even they were talking about in the Hobbit movies, I can't remember, Ian, the actor that plays Gandalf, he was like,
MacLeod?
yeah, he was depressed because he was in a room by himself. He was like, no, he's like, this fucking sucked. He's like, all this stuff. He's like, there was no one else around me. It was just TV screens. And so there was no, he's like, I was just depressed the entire time because I wasn't even with
Until
anyone
he checked his
else.
bank account, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But like, he just said that like even acting wasn't, like acting became unfun. And so I think that we're just going to start losing like there's not going to be good actors anymore, because fuck it, we'll just CGI them in anyways.
CGI.
Right.
Like, do I give a shit about actors? Not really. But
Reading their
I
ChatGPT
did.
created scripts.
Yeah, but I did back in the day. Like good actors were good actors. People made you like feel something for just like, an hour and a half on the TV screen.
Yeah.
But now
And
it's
there's
like,
good
whatever.
synergy. You feel that. You're not going to feel that anymore.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
like that just like, I think that sucks, and it's kind of sad, and it's not going to come back unless, they blow up everything in the world and all we have is, like nothing anymore.
Yeah.
So
On
my
that note,
depressing small
on that
talk.
depressing note, it's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start this time with Miss Beka Sue. Miss Beka Sue, what do you got?
I have got some Kentucky Spirit Fantail.
Okay, nice.
101 proof.
Okay.
So let's see what this one does.
Okay. It was good. That was a lot of effort.
I had to put a lot of effort into opening that thing.
A lot of effort. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. Could be enough, though. We'll see. We've had crazier things happen. We'll have Katie go next. Katie, what do you got there?
I have some Woodford Reserve double oaked.
All right. Preparation time. Okay. Ooh, Tim, who's got the lead? That's a tough call.
I'm going to go with Katie on that one.
Katie has the lead. That's what I was leaning towards as well. So
I'm going to run the risk of getting berated by Beka Sue later. So I'm going to hold my ground on this one.
A win's a win.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, Tim, what do you got?
I'm going with rye whiskey. This is from Phenomenal Whiskeys, rum the cask finish.
Rye whiskey
So let me
from
do a
Phenomenal
Katie
Whiskey.
setup.
Yeah.
Adjust here, this, that, and the other.
No, nothing.
Wow, it was amazing. It was so loud.
It's over here.
I thought there was some slosh there too.
I heard the
There was some
tiniest little
slosh.
pop.
I saw some leave the bottle too. So
Yes.
it shot out
I
of there.
did. I heard a little pop.
Yeah, fair enough. All
It
right.
was cute.
It was
All right.
adorable.
Iowa's newest bourbon fan. What do you got?
I have a Rhetoric, 25 years old.
Wow.
That's well loved.
Yeah, I haven't drank out of it for a while.
Okay.
So let's see what it does.
Okay. No, not enough. Not enough.
I haven't drank out of it in a while. Looks like you only drank out of it once, Jeff. I haven't drank out of it from the very first time I poured one glass.
2018.
Yeah. All right. Katie has the lead. I've got Copper Sky here. This is a limited release Mezcal finish. That was solid. I don't think it was enough to take over the lead, though. Unfortunately, I unfortunately did not.
Katie's face had the reaction of what I had too as well on that one, Steve.
I heard like nothing on that.
No, it was good.
I heard
Nope.
I heard like a thumb sound like a
Boom.
Boom.
And Katie won.
Katie is rubbing it in now.
I give Katie the win.
Yeah, you
and
literally
she's
said
still
Katie
angry
wins.
about it.
And Katie's like,
I
I don't know. You're supposed
Only because
though.
Tim called out my face.
Yeah. What the hell?
I think I definitely
Hated that one.
Yeah.
Only because Tim called out my resting question face.
Yeah.
She smelled the fart. Like what?
Yeah.
What's that?
That's-
How about that? Congrats, Katie.
yeah.
Cheers, Katie. You won.
Mhm.
Be happy.
Cheers.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about some topics that ChatGPT created for Bourbon Podcast. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Mudcat Mike from MB Rollin Distillery. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about ChatGPT.
Yep. Yeah. Not to be confused with ChatGPT.
BT.
I always want to call it GBT. I don't know why.
I wonder why.
It just sounds correct.
ChatGPT.
Sounds like NKOTB.
GBT. How would Jeff's announcer voice say? You're listening to ChatGPT.
You're listening to Chat, the internet's newest. Creator, ChatGPT.
These are actually all of our CGI voices tonight.
Yes.
None of us are here. This is all computer generated.
I
Enjoy.
I really like being on the show.
So, I mean, famously, some people thought that when you did that, it sounded like James Earl Jones. Other people thought it sounded like the guy telling them to put the lotion on its skin. Can you give us a little of that too? Let's hear. Yeah. All right, let's hear it in that voice. The lotion on it. It puts the lotion on its skin.
That's the one. Gosh, Buffalo Bill. You want me to do that?
Yeah,
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill. It's basically the same voice you just did. Just say, put some lotion on it.
Just think about the music and the light, the satin robe and the dancing.
Hard fuck me. I
I think it was good. Becca couldn't contain herself. We didn't get much of it. We got a soundbite of Becca laughing. Is what we
I'm
got.
sorry. I'd fuck me. I'm like, what the hell?
You don't remember that part?
I fully remember it. And that's why I was
Oh, yeah.
terrified, so I laughed.
Didn't think you'd do it. Oh, that was awesome.
That's what.
Yeah, no, he was weird.
It was one of the
Yes,
great
he
movies.
was a fucking murderer. He was weird.
Yeah.
He was in the Fast and the
He
Furious
can
also.
skid suits.
Yeah, call back to Fast and the Furious. He was in that as well.
It tends
Okay.
to be a weird batch, you know.
Yeah.
So I assigned ChatGPT. I said, "Hey, give us 3 topics for a bourbon podcast," and this is what it came up with. And we're not going to do the shows. We're not going to do the topics and be like, "All right," but we're going to say, "Is this a good, viable idea? Is this something we could see something like the Bourbon Daily doing?" And the first one is the art of a bourbon tasting. So telling how to put it together, how you properly taste whiskey, and how you would line them out, and things like that. It's pretty good,
That's a
right?
good one.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's show 529 in a nutshell, right there.
This is how we.
yeah. Becca was did not do a
somebody got
proper whiskey tasting.
Snoring.
there.
Yeah, I did a proper fucking whiskey tasting of drinking all of it. How do you properly drink a whiskey? You drink all of it and then pass the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
Does somebody have Becca's cell phone number to phone a friend or something like that? So she's
So
okay.
make sure she's alive or what? We're unsure if she is or not. I think that the art of bourbon tasting is a good one. I mean, because there is, I guess. I say the more pretentious you get, the better you are at that. I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think there's several
Shallow
different
and
ways to
pedantic.
do it.
I'm
Yeah.
getting some mascarpone.
This batch is shallow and pedantic.
I smell cactuses by the sea.
I like that one guy you posted out there. First, you take a nose and you throw it out. Then you put it back in. Then you say, then you come right back in. Hello there. Then you say, hello again. And then
I mean, really, whatever works. But I think that is a good one because you could. I mean, we could talk about how you could properly taste whiskey,
Right.
and the wrong ways to taste whiskey. Which we do that in the distillery all the time. I yell at people. I'm like, "Don't touch your fucking glass until I instruct you to touch your glass," and they're like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
Why is this woman yelling at us? I'm like, don't touch your fucking whiskey.
Why
Yes,
do people
madam.
like Becca yelling at them so much? I don't
know. It's
that's
so
a thing. That's a
strange.
thing.
And there's always one that's like giggling about it.
Right.
There are some people that get so upset about it.
Really? Oh. Wow.
Bo Cumberland hated it.
Yeah.
Bo hated
it
it.
also
But
brought
there's some,
samples to a Rate My Whiskey collection, too. So let's start there.
I mean, it's not my fault. It's not my fault if I'm screaming at you. It's
He
your
was wrong.
fault if I'm
He was
screaming
wrong.
at you. It has never been my own fault for me screaming. All right.
I mean,
If
You
I'm
never made a
screaming,
mistake? Yeah.
you could be charging a lot more for that, really.
I know. I should be. You're
Could be
right.
a business. Could be a business.
God.
Want to
yeah,
get
Side
you're
hustle.
right.
smacked around by Beka Sue? It's $15 a tasting.
The
Yeah.
madam
If you wanna
Becca
get told what's
experience.
Yeah,
wrong
I'm gonna
with you,
change my
it's
name
25.
on it. My new Instagram handle is Madam.
Beka Sue.
Sue.
If you want that
Beka
distillery tour
You moved
experience,
from
you
Miss
have
to Madam. Yeah.
add a
That's-
zero.
that's
to
where
it.
it's
You
at.
can have that distillery tour experience. Just
gonna-
get yelled at.
I'm gonna have to
Exact
see
same
if I
thing.
can invest in some latex. Some latex.
The S in
suits.
Sue is now a dollar sign.
Okay. So I think we're good. We're 1 for 1.
Clearly, we would stay very on topic for bourbon tasting.
Oh, sure.
Yes,
We would
of course.
that would be a great show.
Do
for
not
us.
touch that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a ruler.
yeah. Wow. Okay.
More like a whip.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
Don't touch my
the
whiskey.
second topic they came up with was bourbon legends, specifically the legends, not necessarily people, that could be another offshoot, but it was distilleries and their stories.
Oh, ghosts.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
I think
think
you've
so,
done
too.
that. You've done that in a lot of them.
we've done that kind of stuff. Sure.
They
Yeah.
just stole your ideas.
Yeah, they're probably just listen to the
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
They're
just
generic.
listen to
So, like, you've
Source
done
is
things
the ABV
like
network.
this in more detail. But
Right.
These are very generic.
Right. Yes. Very generic. Yeah. So there's potential there. It's not a bad
That's a good
effort. If I told someone to come up with some topic ideas and they came up with that, we'd be like, okay, let's see what we can do with that. Let's explore that. Last one, 3 of 3, the bourbon cocktail renaissance.
Well, that's every Up Rocks article that they write.
Well, I think we know where we're getting our content from. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
That and brown butter bourbon. It's a renaissance.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, cocktail bourbon. Yeah.
Making fun of that exact title would be a fantastic episode.
Sure.
Oh, yeah,
Renaissance,
for sure.
Renaissance. Yeah.
So
It's
there,
the
I mean,
Renaissance.
so
Don't call it a comeback.
technically, it's a good answer for the Bourbon Daily purposes,
Right.
Because we would discuss it in jest, but
Yes.
No, we never do that.
Yeah. Well,
We're not just a bunch of court fucking jesters out here.
We're going to shit on everything, but
right.
on some, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That actually is a good one because that's really what
It
that
certainly has been, it's kind
especially
of
the past
COVID.
few years.
Yeah.
Of getting people into bourbon more.
Yeah.
Has been, you know, people like getting into more bourbon cocktails. It wasn't just
when they
drinking
couldn't go to
bourbon.
their bar, they're like, "Oh, I got to figure out how to do this." And once they got into it, then they got into it. Then they started
Yeah.
experimenting, and
Well, I mean, back in the day, people just order like a bourbon and Coke. I had someone walk into the distillery the other day. They just showed up. I'm standing there talking to my sister-in-law Haley, and my back is to the door, and she looks up and she goes, "Oh God." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "There's a bus." And I'm like, I grab our tour sheet to see if we have a tour booked. I'm like, "There's no tour booked. Why is there a bus here?" And this guy walks in. Do you guys like have time to like entertain us for a while? Like,
entertain us.
Here, let me get my hat on.
hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Hello, my darling.
Now, again, this is when you need the latex and the ruler.
Yeah, I like how that's where you
The
went.
latex and the
I went to
ruler.
a top hat and like the fucking
Right. Michigan
like the
J.
frog
Food.
man,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
hello,
Yes.
my honey, hello, my darling, and Katie's like, "Did you get your latex and your ruler out?" No, I didn't. Should have, I guess. Probably this probably would have been the appropriate group
See
for
Becca
that.
pull the glove on. Snap. I'm ready.
Are you
So-
ready? Snap.
So, what did you do with these folks?
Well,
Did you have them come in?
They said, "Do you have time to entertain us?" And I said, "Yes. We're not a gentleman's club, but I could do a tasting with you." And so they all came inside, and I was like, "Do you guys want cocktails beforehand?" And the guy's like, "Can I get a Crown and Coke?" And I went, "Can I get a Crown and Coke?" And he's
Yelling
like-
at people.
Yeah, and he's like, "What?" And I go, "We don't make Crown here, sir. That's a Canadian whiskey." And he's like, "Well, we're just like cruising around. I see, I'm stupid." And I said, "Clearly you are." I said, "Would you like a bourbon and Coke? Is that what you wanted?" I said, "Which I technically don't make here, but I will if you're giving me your money." And he's
Right.
like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And then
It
all the other
doesn't
guys
say
are like,
Neely
As a single
Family
tear falls
Saloon
from
out
his
front.
cheek.
It
then the
says
other
Neely
guys are
Family
like-
Distillery.
we'll take the Sazerac.
Oh no.
They're afraid to get in trouble.
So everyone else, like I made like 5 Sazeracs and 1 bourbon and Coke.
Yeah.
They're like, quick, look for something you see a name on.
Right.
Sazerac. That one looks
Oh.
fancy. And then they're like, get their drinks. Like, there's nothing quite like a craft cocktail from a craft distillery.
Oh,
But what I'm trying to say is that back in the day, before the bourbon cocktail renaissance, you would order a bourbon and Coke. And
Right.
like that was like what people would get. Like
So,
you would
yeah.
just do that. You weren't like ordering a Sazerac. You weren't necessarily getting an old fashioned. You weren't getting all those fancy things. You were just like, oh, I'll get a bourbon and Coke. I'll get a bourbon, like I'll get a cloudy or something like that. Like some just like bullshit drink
Right.
that you probably didn't get made fun of, but now you do.
Right.
Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
So we would have a less pretentious title for discussing that.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
home bourbon cocktail making.
Yeah. No. So, I mean, these are good. These are good. I don't know if they're Bourbon Daily really ready. I mean, you look at our next show we got coming up. It's basically just a bitch session because someone asked me to write a column if they could write a column for Bourbon's Up, and I said yes, and they never wrote a goddamn one. We're gonna talk about that, not to the person individually, of course. We're gonna bitch about it. On the show.
Yeah, I like how
we're
we're going to
bitching.
discuss it without
Yeah.
them here. too.
Better yet.
I looked back at the listing. I was
Let's
like,
really
wait,
let's really bring them down.
I'm like, who's on
Let's
this?
destroy
No?
their
Okay,
confidence.
great.
GPT needs to get their game together.
Yeah, if Chat
forgot about that
GPT knew
till I
anything, you know
scrolled,
that
like,
we're trying to
once the show's
make fun
coming
of
up.
people.
Yeah, ChatGPT didn't come up with that one. I'll tell you
You
what.
should have typed in bourbon topics but mean.
Or you should have specifically mentioned the Bourbon Daily, and then it could have.
Then maybe it would have.
See what their sources would have been on that.
Like, will Eddie wear a shirt this episode?
He won't. He won't. There's never been a time that Eddie's had a shirt on, and I'll tell you what, Delafane has never complained.
Oh, exactly.
No, she is
number one fan of Eddie for sure.
If Eddie's got one fan, it's always going to be Delafane.
Yeah. She's like, this doesn't look like an ABV Network guy.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So Eddie didn't look bad when he was doing that when he was not wearing a shirt. He broke up with his girlfriend, so now he's just been working out twice a day. So now Eddie's just like veins everywhere. He's just like jacked.
Perfect.
I need my dose of Eddie Bolton every now and then. Yeah. That is damn sure.
See, dog agrees.
The dog agrees.
The dog said, "Hell yeah."
Yeah.
Mine's like, I've seen him. Totally jacked.
Where's Eddie B?
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Katie, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me with the unruly dog, but also just agreeing at random times on our discussions here, and also over on Instagram at Katie Proof.
All right, Tim.
You can find me on Instagram at SwyGuy2112.
All right, Buffalo Bill. Where can people find you?
You can find me
down in the hole. Nowhere. I don't know.
Nowhere.
Somewhere near Sandusky, Ohio.
Send Steve Akeley a DM.
Damn, I was hoping for one more shot at Buffalo. Nothing there though. He wasn't biting. Right.
I'll be buying lotion. You can find me in the lotion aisle of your local CVS. I'll be buying lotion and dog treats. And my dog Precious.
I hate this. Oh my god.
All right, Miss Beka Sue, how about you?
You can find me hiding.
And never listening to this episode because it's too scary.
In our safe room. I'll be hiding out. You can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue 1K no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. You can listen to Jeff's first show. Search his name on there and listen to some of his old shows. Good stuff for sure. Check out our website because we've got some of the other shows that he was on too. And it gets some really good stuff out there. Please come by and see us, ABV Barrel Shop. We are in Arnold, Missouri, which is a St. Louis suburb. We'd love to have you come in and taste some of our whiskey and buy whatever you like. Check us out online, abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Finance, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
See you later.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, But if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.